shorty, what your name is? Do you have a man who you came with?
Welcome back, y'all. Street Academy Podcast, where we keep one foot in the academy and one foot in the streetsies. And we back, and we back, and we back.
Thanks, Abby.
Yo, so, man, first of all, shout out to my co-host, man, Dr. Hater, Godmother Decatur, Jackie Forbes, Jackie, it's not Forbes anymore, but Jackie, and Amber K. We are doing the mini-sode. So this is my mini-sode. And so, as you all know, for people who follow us, for people who subscribe, like, we actually got a little following a little bit. Like, we really do. Like, people be like, yo, I checked out the last episode. Like, it'd be dope. So, for those who know, we're putting out mini-sodes in between the episodes where it is all three of us or whatever. So, you can catch those on Sunday. We did miss a Sunday, but we're trying to get back on the schedule that we're supposed to be on. So that is that. So this is my mini-sode. And so with our mini-sodes, we just kind of take creative liberty and do whatever it is that we want to do, whatever content we want to put out, whether it be a vlog, interview, whatever it is we want to do. And then we all come back together as all three of us as co-hosts or whatever, and we do our thing. So if you are listening to this on any of the places where you listen to us on podcasts, make sure you go to the YouTube, because in the YouTube, you will actually see that this is the first time we are actually doing something in person. Typically, it is done over Zoom or it is done virtually. But, we still COVID out here, so, everybody's still safe. I just want to let you know. But we are actually, this is actually an in-person episode, so you can go to our YouTube, just type in Street Academy Podcast, or you can follow us at Street Academy Podcast on Instagram. You'll see all our information and all of that, and you'll see the background, you'll see the camera, the lights, the whole situation that we got going on, and you'll be able to see our guests in person. So I think that is all of the updates. Yeah, that's it. That's all of the church announcements, updates, and all of that good stuff. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and introduce our guest for today, our guest for this mini-sode podcast. It is Women's History Month still. It is still Women's History Month. I know that. I don't know when this is going to go up. This might go up after Women's History Month. You know how videos
just made it.
Yeah, just made it. You know what I'm saying? But it's still Women's History Month, man. We still celebrating the ladies. And Street Academy Podcast, we black as hell. So, we got to get our sisters up here. And I was just thinking about, all right, this is the first time we doing something live in person. Who can I call? And I had to hear one of my homies, man. We've known each other actually from Duval, actually from Florida. You know what I'm saying? Long time ago. We was both super young. But then she moved to Georgia and I was still in Florida. And then we met again in college, and like around our college years or whatever in college. And then from there we ended up, well, she lived in Georgia. She lived in Atlanta. I ended up moving to Atlanta, and we ended up living together for like, what, a year or 2 years, something like that.
I think it was 2.
Yeah, we was like roommates for like 2 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And man, we just grew up together. We got a lot of inside jokes. We got a lot of like history and just growing up trying to figure out our life. You know what I'm saying? Trying to figure out where we wanted to go, what we wanted to do. Like, you going from figuring out college and then going from there into the creative space and all of that. So anyway, as what happens, you know what I'm saying? Things happen over time. People go in their professional careers, their family responsibilities. We kind of go our separate ways. We won't keep in touch as much as we would like to, but the love is still there. You know what I'm saying? We always know the love is still there. And so, we would catch each other off and on, particularly at like big events or like, special events, family stuff, family changes or whatever. And so we always kept in touch. And I was like, man, I really want to I call her Breeze, but you're going to get her real name in a second. But she's been doing just amazing things in the movie space and in movies and in TV, and she's actually behind some of your biggest some of the biggest content that you see on television, on streaming, on some of the biggest movies that I didn't even know she was a part of. She's a part of. She's shooting. She's, you know, part of the, you know, the AD team and all that other kind of stuff. And she's real underground. You ain't gonna know, like, you ain't gonna know unless you know. You know what I'm saying? You'll walk past her and don't know that she was behind this big film. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, man, I really want to get her up front and just have a conversation, not to mention just catch up with her. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just family. So so I hit her up. She was like, yeah, I'm definitely down. You know, I'm free or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I want to do this in person. And so I just brought her on here, man, just to talk a little bit about, you know, just her process, where she come from, how she got into the space she's in with Hollywood and entertainment. And, you know, and then on top of that, just talk a little bit about being a black woman in those spaces, you know what I'm saying, and what that means, you know what I mean? And the things that you got to overcome and the support that you may get from some people and not get from other people. And yeah, man, just talk and just catch up and just shoot the shit, you know what I'm saying? So that's what we gonna do. So without any further ado, I introduce you to Amber Bournett-McClain, because she just got married. Ooh, boot up. Amber Bournett-McClain, woo! The more y'all subscribe, the more we can get claps in the audience and all that other kind of stuff. Get more technology.
Get that applause track.
Applause track. Right now, we just got a trampoline and baby stuff in the background, kids stuff in the background. But yes, Amber Bournett-McClain. Thank you so much for joining us.
For having me.
Appreciate it. So yeah, this is it. So first of all, let me pull out my notes because we are professionals over here. We professionals over here. Just give us an overall idea of what it is that you do.
Okay, so my official title for right now would be a camera operator.
Okay.
I've also have a DP, was a director of photography, some commercial spots and short films, and that is the end goal and the role I aspire to do completely.
Be a director of photography. Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
Camera operator. In the union. So.
Okay. Cool. That's what's up. So, overall, just give us kind of like a layout of how you got to this space. Like growing up, give us a little bit of your bio, give us a little bit of what you was into. Is this something you always wanted to do? Did you just kind of fall into it? Like, or, you know, kind of give us that overall layout. Was it something you studied in college or?
Got you. I would say both. In a sense of like falling into it and wanting to do it. I think it's something I wanted to do. I just didn't know what it was or what it was called. Just based on like access of information and stuff like that. Like I knew I loved movies when I was younger. My parents always took us to the movies. It's something that's like something we like to do. And I'm a military brat, so we moved around a lot. So just exposure to like different arts and cultures. Yeah. And then like going to the movies was something like just, you know, constant. Had Disney collection was packed, right?
Lion King, Mulan.
The big, you know, big ass.
With the big entertainment center.
Yeah. Stacked. But yeah, so I wanted to be in art, and that's something I knew from a young age, that I wanted to do art, and I always felt like I was an artist, and I was lucky enough that my parents like saw that in me and tried to like, you know, nurture that. So I was always in art, and I like movies. I remember when I was going to EJA. And
Epson's Junior Academy, shout out back in the day. You know what it is.
And I remember I wanted to put on my version of like Aladdin. Do you remember?
A whole new world. A new exciting point of view.
Do you remember Vera?
I do remember.
Yeah, so I casted Vera as Jasmine.
Yeah.
And my friend at the time, Alicia. God, and there's this guy. I can't remember his name, but anyways, Aladdin. And we were like, this had to be like first or second grade.
First, second grade, you out here. She got a whole cast in first, second grade.
And it never happened. I was like.
It didn't get picked up by any major networks.
No.
It was hating. They didn't see the vision. The first Issa Rae, you ain't see it.
But I had a vision. I had notes. I had a notebook. I remember we had practices and stuff like that.
Wow.
I don't know why. It's like something that got abandoned. I'm a Gemini. We're both Geminis, so you know shit gets abandoned sometimes.
Yeah.
That ADHD brain.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember that. Like I was thinking about that. I was like, damn. Like I was trying to like make movies and plays when I was younger. Like then I was just doing art, and then I remember I started acting, and I was in plays in school, and I did a stint of acting where I did theater, and then I started getting into like a web series when web series were a thing, like when Awkward Black Girl came out and Black and Sexy TV was out. I was in a web series. It's a really bad one. Really
Is
bad.
this the one that I know?
No, that was
good. I was gonna say that one was good.
No,
I love that web series. I'm gonna say what it is in a second.
Okay. No, one I acted in, and it was with some other actor friends that were trying to make their own content, and I'm glad we did. It was a good experience. Yeah. I got to write a little bit, and so I got to write, and one of my friends, who I'm good friends with now, in the film industry, Alexander Hooper. He was filming one of the web series, and I asked him questions about his camera. And then I went and bought my own camera, and I started shooting my own content, and then I started shooting music videos, and then I started interning at a music label where I shot like the vlogs. Remember, like, you know, musicians used to have vlogs all the time, and blah, blah, blah. This is like when the web content was starting to come and thing. And then I changed my major to film and television. Okay. At the time, and then I met my current film partner, Ebony Blaney, with House of June, in a lighting class. I think we were the only two Black girls. And she's like one of the most talented screenwriters ever. And
shout out to Ebony.
Yeah.
Man. Shout out to Ebony. Shout out to House of June. Yeah. We gonna fill y'all in on all of this. Yeah.
And so we started doing shorts. We did this this film. I forgot what it's called, but it was with Atlanta Film Festival, or I can't remember the thing. It's like a 365 Atlanta Film collective thing, and I cannot think of the name of it right now. But so we did this film intensive, I'll call it a film intensive, where she submitted her script, and other people submit their scripts, and then we start workshopping on making their scripts into a film. And like we'll do like a scene from the script. Everyone will like rotate the scenes from people's different scripts and do it. And we did that, and then we had a thing where we shot our script at the end, and we debuted our films at the Plaza Theater. And that film, someone asked for it to be included in the Atlanta Film Festival. And there starts the House of June.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
And then while we were shooting that, we did the Shrink and B6. Okay. Which is a really good web series.
If y'all ain't, YouTube, it was back in the day. Like she said, this was what, 2000, what year was this?
Shit. What year is it now?
Because it was around the Chase time. We was doing the Chase.
Yeah.
So this was like 2013.
Yeah, I shot a video for you guys.
Yeah. You shot the video for us. Yeah.
Was it
2013, 2014, something like that?
I don't know why it might have been. I don't know what 17's in my head right now, but 17 I think is when I joined the union. Around that time. Yeah, around that time.
Check out the Shrink in B6. Yeah. Go ahead and YouTube that. Just throw it on YouTube. It was such a good.
It was really good. Yeah.
It was such a good series. Like everybody was on Issa Rae, Awkward Black Girl at the time, but Shrink in B6 was like to me it was actually probably better. You know what I'm saying? Like better shot and all of that. It was super funny. It was just really good.
It was a really good series.
Yeah.
And then we did a couple shorts, and then I was like, you know what? I ended up operating the camera and shooting. And what I what I was doing that I didn't know what the role was I was DPing.
Oh, okay.
Because at the time we just had nobody to operate the camera. I didn't know any camera operators. We're just pulling people like in films, like in school, studying, and it's like a very like we do everything ourselves. You know, everything. We would write scripts, and we would co-direct. And I had my camera, and we shot everything on a 70, that Canon 70. And like lighting was
How many cameras? Multi-camera? Just like one camera?
One camera.
Y'all did all that on one camera?
Yeah. And lighting was really based on what I thought was right.
Clearly, with my lamp coming in here. That's all I got.
But this looks good. And in a sense of like, then you start thinking like, okay, not only does something looks good, but then it becomes intention. Like, what is my intention behind doing this?
Right.
And I think because I had an art background and like I've been painting for like years, ever since you know me. Like, I just applied that to how I lit. And at the time, I was a director of photography, and I didn't know I was a director of photography. So when I found out what that role was, because again, like a lot of people watch movies and you don't know what people do in the movies. You know, you have this long list of credits.
I was gonna say the long list of credits. Who?
Didn't nobody watch that past the actors?
Yeah.
And then it's like, so now it's like when I watch movies, like I'm like, I watch it all the way to the end of the credits or whatever. Just
so
say,
you can
oh, okay,
see.
all right, I know this person, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is who did the, you know, gapping and stuff like that. But yeah, like we didn't know what that is. You know what I mean? At least I didn't. I didn't even know working in film is a possibility because I just think as like Black people, you just not, you know, back then, like you didn't have access to that information. You didn't know certain jobs were jobs because, you know, my family doesn't know anything about film. You know, I think it's like I joke with people. It's like my family is just now understanding what I actually do. They just tell like, yeah, she works in the movies. And but yeah, so I didn't know what that was, and so I wanted to become more knowledgeable because it's like, okay, this is what I want to do. You know, so I was on the board of some film festivals, and so when I knew there, shout out to Katie, told me about an internship at Commander, which is a rental house here in Atlanta. And there I became a prep technician, and my job there was to a camera house is basically where you go to rent camera equipment and lighting equipment for when movies or commercials or whatever is being shot. And so what I did was check out gear, check in gear, have to troubleshoot, update. So there I learned how to build cameras. And then I joined maybe a year and a half later. My first PA job as a camera PA was on Black Panther. It was like the last week. And we were doing French hours, and they basically needed a camera PA to make sure everyone got their lunch. And then through that, I guess they liked me or trusted me, and I got to carry batteries and stuff like that. And then I camera PA'd on my first feature was Rampage. And then I just did a Clint Eastwood movie after then, and then I joined the union officially. And I just started working on different productions as a utility, then became a second AC. And then I've never stopped shooting my own shit though, like on the weekends, and still like shooting music videos and short films. And I think because of that, I was able to bump up to operator, and I actually got to be a second unit DP on a feature. Yeah, so because of that, I think I got to bump up fast. But I kind of put a timestamp on for myself. Because I knew I was getting into film, for me, getting into film at like a later age. And I was just like, okay, I'm 27. Like I changed my whole career. I left my 9-to-5 job. And I want to make movies. And now I know I want to DP. And I want to like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I got a goal now.
Yeah, I got a goal. Let me put, let me put a marker for myself. And yeah, so I'm very, very grateful and thankful because I do feel like my career kind of moved fast, but I also kind of knew what I wanted to do going in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, because people, like, because you can enter, like, right after film school. It's still, like, knowing about, like, who's in a union, stuff like that. But it's I didn't feel like I had the luxury of, like, okay, let me dabble in this department and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, I know what I want to do.
Right.
So, yeah. And that's the story.
So, man, listen. So, the story that I'm super interested in is how you transitioned from, because I remember you doing art. I remember you used to paint these massive pictures of like the city. I remember the city was always like your canvas.
Yeah, somewhere in the background. Yeah.
One thing that I remember was you did like the city of Atlanta with the eyes. I remember that piece right there. I don't know where it is. It's probably somewhere.
I have no idea what it is.
And I'm about to actually go upstairs and bring you something that I still got.
I know what piece it is. Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah.
talking about? Okay. I'm about to go bring it down. You might not want me to. You might be like, that shit whack. I don't even know what you do.
Yeah. I actually like that piece. I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. I'm about to go bring that piece. But what made you transition from that into like videography and all that other kind of stuff? Because you talked about how it informed each other.
Oh man, I realized at some point I didn't want to paint for other people. And it's something I just like to do for myself. I've done some commission pieces, and I had like a show, and it's part of some other shows, but it just wasn't like sustainable in the sense of like I wasn't disciplined enough to get like just pieces of work done for people. I realized I didn't like doing commission work because I kind of liked, I was like painting what I felt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was more of a passion. Like, you ain't want to be.
It was a passion, something I just knew how to do, and not something I necessarily wanted to do for income or money. And I wasn't disciplined enough to do it for income or money. I realized when I start studying film and working in film, I realized I like film more.
Oh. And you can make money.
Off
of it.
Yeah, we make money from it. And but
better than as an artist, better than as a painter.
Yeah, because I feel like something people. Well, no, I feel like if you look at all the credits in the credit section, it's like 1,000 names. Film is very collaborative. Okay. And in a sense, it's like I play this role and I can be good at this job, and also collaborate with other people who bring in their skill or their aesthetic or whatever. And I like that. I kind of like working on the team. When I'm painting, it's just me.
Oh, okay.
And it's just me like expressing my emotions or dealing with whatever I have to do mentally, emotionally. And then also when you're put at this timeline, you know what I mean? It's like you're not always wanting to be done on that timeline, or you're not thinking it's done, or it's not. And like I'm someone who suffers from like imposter.
Oh, imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Or
should I be here? Like, am I good enough to be here?
And then like
because y'all heard she was on Black Panther, Rampage, like
2 days.
I mean, she was still on there. You know what I'm saying? It's on the resume. Like she behind so much good work, man.
But as an artist, when I was painting, it's very like it wasn't sustainable in the sense of like I painted when I felt like painting. Yeah. But I couldn't do it on other people's timeline. I had to do it on my timeline.
Got you.
And that's not something you can't be like that when you're like pursuing something as a career, you know? Or just like the luxury of having it. I feel like that luxury of being an artist, living that whole art lifestyle for a Black person is just something that is now happening, in a sense of like, I can do this when I want to do this and still like have my bills paid. Or, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Artistry for Black people to me is just now becoming something that's like, I can do this on my free time. Because like you look at all like the hashtags of like Black luxury and how that's now like becoming a thing, you know what I mean? In a sense of like, this is, we can just sit back and enjoy ourselves and take this time for us and like self-care and stuff like that.
We're going to get back to that self-care, yeah, for sure.
And how self-care is just now becoming something that we understand. It's becoming something that's in our language. To where it's like you don't have to worry about other shit. Or it's not at the forefront of your brain right now. And I feel like for Black people, that's just becoming a part of something being normal. And that's still not attainable for a lot of people. And yeah, I think for me, that was just what art was. You know, it's a skill I've always had, something I've always been able to do. But when I started working in film and was able to like work on short films and stuff like that, like that's when it became like manifested in something like, you know what, I can actually do this every day and enjoy it.
Right.
And then also collaborate with other people to where I don't feel like I have to be, you know, 110 every single day. But the goal is like, I want to be 110 every single day, but just like, it's not possible. You know what I mean? You got shit going on.
Right.
And as long as I can do this job and give it my best, there's other people that are doing their jobs or playing their roles and hopefully giving their best. And even if they can't, at this time someone's giving you like 70 today, you know what I mean? That means they can give a different percentage on a different day. And that sense of like, I like that aspect of teamwork.
Got you.
And that it's not all sitting on my shoulders to get something done.
So now you kind of talked about it in a broader sense. What's it like being a Black woman on these sets? Because I imagine it's still very much male dominated, and many of, even on a set like a Black Panther, even content, you know, like Issa Rae's Insecure and all of that, like, you know, a lot of the content might be Black, but a lot of the people behind it might still be white. You know what I'm saying? I think it's more Black people behind the scenes now. But you know what I'm saying? So what's it like being a Black woman?
It's getting more diverse.
Yeah.
Way more diverse than it was, like, I feel like when I started. Even more diverse than like people have been in the film industry since like the fucking 70s.
Yeah.
So just imagine what those sets look like.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's gotten better. I still go on sets, and I've been on sets recently where someone will come up to me and tell me they have never seen a Black woman as a camera operator. And then it's a little surreal, you know what I mean? Because it's in a sense, it's like I'm not like, can we curse on here?
Yeah, no, you good.
It's like I'm not a fudging doctor or something. I'm not like, you know, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not like, in a sense, I'm not trying to intentionally be an activist.
Right.
You know, but, and even saying the word pioneer, I feel like, in a sense, I don't feel comfortable saying that. But I felt like that's what I imagine what people feel like. Like with someone like the first, I don't know,
first
postal
Black
service worker.
Yeah.
Doing you know what I mean? It's like, to me, it's not that way to it, but whenever, I can't lie and say I'm not like thrown off, and not thrown off in a bad way, but it's interesting, you know, because you know, you're just working and someone comes up to you and says that to you, and it does remind you, you know, and it's not bad, but it's also like, I don't know. You imagine
we haven't made that much progress.
Yeah,
it's been this long.
I mean?
You still, I'm still the first.
Yeah.
Camera operator. You know, first Black person, a Black woman.
And so it's to a point now I can tell when someone's about to tell me that.
Oh wow.
And at least one person is gonna say it when I'm on the show or something. You know what I mean? So it's like, maybe it's not as common as you think it is. You know, even though I feel like I know other Black camera operators, but when I think about other Black female camera operators I actually met in person.
Oh, okay. Not a lot. No,
like it's like we follow each other on the social medias. I remember one time I was trying to find someone to fill in for me, and I reached out to one person. She wasn't available at the time, and she was working, deeping. But maybe one. I maybe met one other female black camera like in person. So it's like, I mean, they're right. Like where they're right, it's still becoming. It's still a thing where it's like.
Even in Atlanta, even if you have a place where it's like a lot of black people doing like.
But it's different. It's different pockets of it. Film and production in Atlanta.
Got you.
You know what I mean?
You got like Tyler Perry, what he doing, and you got like other grassroots and independent. Got you. And
even with that, even with the different pockets, it's still like black female operators are very rare.
Yeah.
You know, very, 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 very rare. And there's still productions where you think it's something that's like a quote unquote black film, and you have a lot of white people behind the camera. You know, that's still a thing. And I think one of my favorite things to work on this year was Naomi, and we had a lot of we had a lot of black people, a lot of POCs of just like as department heads in the camera department, producers, and that was just. It was just lovely, that feeling of like, you know, just like being around your people. You know what I mean? And it's not even just like just being around your people, because it's like, I don't know. It's like you get used to like the difference of going to an AUC and then going to like what's the term now they have like regular universities. Any university is nice.
PWI.
Yeah. Any university is not an AUC or private school. And it's just a difference. You know what I mean?
You get a different feel.
It's a different feel.
Going to an HBCU, going to a white school, like that.
Yeah. Different feel, and it's the same thing. And for a while, it was that feeling of like a PWI versus like, oh, shit,
I'm comfortable. I'm in my, you know what I'm saying? I'm in my element. It's feel like home. Yeah,
because minorities. It's weird. I was listening to a podcast, NPR podcast, about imposter syndrome, and they're not calling it imposter syndrome. They're calling it imposter something. But it's something about it not being a syndrome, because it's technically not like it's a thing, but medically.
Right.
But they're saying like a higher percentage of minorities are people who suffer from that or experience that. It might be imposter experience. I think it's what they're calling it.
Okay.
Like suffer from that or experience that. Because again, when you're in these rooms where you only see you, you start to question like, do I belong here? You know what I mean? Do I belong here? What makes me deserving of being the only black person here? It's like the whole unicorn thing. You know what I mean? If you're unicorn and you're around all these horses and no one else has a horn on their fucking head. You know what I mean? It's like.
How do you get past that? How do you move past that to say, or do you ever feel like you say, I deserve to be here? Or how do you be around, you know, celebrities or like people of other races or whatever, and say, and find your centeredness, like your inspiration and groundingness to say, I'm going to be here. I'm going to do my job. I'm going to push towards my dream.
It's a lot of work in a sense of like what I do is I like have this conversation with myself, and like my friends support me, my parents support me, family support me, but the sense of like I go into myself. And I just think about what I had to do to get here, what my journey was like, because everyone's journey is different. And
everybody's journey is different, bro.
Yeah,
for real.
And even though it looks like some people just like came out of nowhere, that's rarely ever the truth. You know what I mean? Because it's just like when I think about it, it's like, yeah, like what people tell me, it's like you bumped up really fast, and I did. But I've also been operating a camera. You know what I mean? And that's what I think about.
And you've been for a long time.
And those are things I forget about. And then I have like my husband reminds me all the time. Or like I have it myself, like, no, I've actually been doing this for a really, really long time. I haven't been doing it at this scale. But ultimately, it's just more money being thrown at you in a bigger camera.
Yeah.
It's just a bigger camera.
Wow.
That's all it is. It's a bigger camera. It's still like,
But you
light
still
reflecting off into the mechanics are the same.
But you still doing the same stuff you was doing with Shrink and B6.
And then back then I didn't question myself because I didn't know what the fuck to question myself for. You know what I mean?
deep.
I was just doing it for the art and what I felt to me looked right. And then I started to understand language and understand intention and like how does this work for the story? What does this do for the story? And so you got to have that same mindset because it's weird. Like the older we get and the more people we get around, and you have this job title and expectation, and someone's paying you a check to do this thing, right? When it's something like you have the passion, at least for people who are doing jobs that they want to do now. You know what I mean? But once you had a passion, you didn't really care about doing it for money. You just wanted to fucking create. And it's like you got to take yourself back to that mindset. And then sometimes it's like, to me, sometimes it's fuel. For the most part, like people are nice to me. I get warm receptions. But then you can always tell when someone's like I can tell when someone's like on set looking at me, seeing if I know what I'm doing. You can feel it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's coming from.
And then you put on the Kanye. You put on that genius level, like, oh, you standing on top of the table. Through the wire, through the limit.
Oh, man.
Rapping in front of these
I'm
niggas.
problematic phase, but we get there. Every Gemini is like,
I know.
like we understand, but at the same time,
you know what? That's crazy you said that because I even questioned myself yesterday. Kanye did some stupid stuff, and I'm like, why do I still be backing this nigga? It's the Gemini.
It's the Gemini.
We understand each
the
other.
process. We understand the thought process. We understand the whole artistry, the frustration.
No
one understands.
You like, I know he wrong.
But then, like, because, like, it's like, yeah, bro, what you doing? You kind of extra.
Yeah, you doing the most.
You doing the most.
But I just want to hug you. Like, I feel you. It's something about
that. I hug, and this doesn't work.
Yeah, man. It's crazy.
It's crazy, dude. But it's like, it's just like, you have to have that confidence in yourself, dude. Yeah. And sometimes it's like, even the faking it till you make it in a sense, but to like a point, And that at some point you got to believe that I'm here for a reason.
Man, you preaching
like
right
if they
now.
didn't want me to be here, I would have got fired.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm obviously giving something. There's something I'm giving, or something I'm giving that it's like they're accepting or they appreciate because I did this whole show. You know what I mean? And that's it. It's just like I deserve to be here because I want to be here, and I'm gonna give the best that I can give. That's all you can do. Is like, if you feel like at the end of the day you can say that was the best that I could give, that was the best that I could do, then I feel like that you are like you are playing your role. You know what I mean? You are in a space, you're not taking it up, but you're just, you're there. You're like, I feel like you always should, like, and maybe this is like the empathetic person in me, like, I feel like you should always be giving. You know what I mean? And you can do that through your skills, your art, or whatever. But yeah, like, I'm the hardest on myself. Yeah. Because of imposter experience. And just like, I feel like as Black people, as a minorities, we're always taught to, like, we gotta be like, we gotta be 110. Yeah. All the time. You know what I mean? We gotta do more. We gotta do. It's not just enough. You gotta be like, you know what I mean?
Right, you gotta be
because
more.
People are gonna judge you from a different standard. And I think that, like, with that in me too, someone who is a strong procrastinator, but when I show up, you know, I make sure I show up, because if I'm not showing up, why am I here? If you're not going to show up, why even come?
Right.
You know what I mean? And then I think about when someone comes up to me and we have that conversation of, like, you're the first female Black camera operator I've ever seen. It does something to you mentally. And it says, well, shit, I can't fuck up now. Oh,
because you feel like you got to carry the whole weight of
it's the Black side.
All the camera operators, everybody. You carrying the weight of Spike Lee and Harry Belafonte, all them boys, people from way back.
Well, not even that, because it's like Spike Lee is, like, established now. You know what I mean? In a sense of, like, I have to create, like, a clear pathway for other Black female camera assistants or black women coming through the camera department or black female camera operators. You know what I mean? I can't. It can't be play. I gotta like. You know what I mean?
You paving a way.
Paving a way, and then
what are some things that are happening with your position that we as consumers, people just cut it on and we watch it and we take for granted. Like we probably take for granted the fact that, and all we doing is just watching it. Like, oh, that's dope. Oh, but we might not be looking like, oh, that's a good shot. Oh, she did it. Like, what are some things we probably take for granted that you do?
So the operator is in charge of operator. Basically, what you're watching, someone had to capture that.
Right.
The physically
so
operate
how
machine.
to physically capture
had to like do. Someone's on the dolly.
Mm-hmm.
Someone, you know what I mean? Someone's like, someone's like, or wrapping around someone's face when the big reveal comes.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you're like director of photography are kind of in charge of how like the aesthetic of that looks, the lighting, why this movement is happening this way, the intention. But the labor basically on your shoulder, that's the camera operator.
Oh.
They're operating the camera to get the frame, and then you're like you're telling a story. It's being told. It's like it's what you're seeing. Someone's operating that camera.
And all we're just focusing on is like the actor and the story.
Yeah.
But we're not really focusing on how, like you said, like the big reveal, like when that camera came around. Yeah. But it's something about it.
Someone had to do it. Someone had to discuss on how they're going to do it, the tools that they're going to use to do that. Just like tilting up at a certain time, making sure someone stays in frame. Like the actor all of a sudden just stands up. Someone had to make sure that they go with them. You know, it's that's what the camera operator is. And then under the camera operator, you have your director of photography. Camera operator, and we're just talking about camera right now. So it's like a director of photography also overseeing the lighting department and stuff like that. Yeah. But within camera, you have operator, you have your first AC, it's the person that pulls focus. Then you have your second AC, assists with the first AC, and also like what people see the slate when someone's like. You know what I mean? Take one.
Oh, actually,
And you see that board, the clapper, old school. That's 1950s. This way, your second AC is usually doing that, and then you have your utility, and you have your. If it's a good set, you have a utility.
Hey, y'all who doing set, you need your utility. Quit playing.
You have a utility, and you have like a loader.
Okay.
The person who like basically like oversees like admin stuff about like if you need equipment, but mainly it's like they're loading. I'm sorry. So when you shoot something, it is shot on a card that keeps the data from what's captured in the camera, and then it's given to someone to load that data or load those visuals or information. And that's what you send to the editor, and that's that's editing, and it comes out to what you see.
Okay, gotcha.
So yeah, the information is recorded on a card that's given to a person, and they load that down to make sure like the files aren't lost and stuff like that. And so that's what your loader is. And then your utility helps with assisting. Basically, you're assisting everyone in the camera department, also setting up village. Or if they're helping the DIT or running cable or making sure we have image.
Got you. So we gonna shift gears a little bit and then come back to you. Now that you're kind of taking us into the movie world, film, television world, from a camera standpoint, what are your top 5 films in terms of? So I want to know your top 5 films of all time. But then I also want to know your top 5 films in terms of your position as a like the way they did the camera joint is like, I'm trying to do that, like how they did it. And you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
That's a really hard question to answer. So many movies. Top 5. Top 5. Okay, so my favorite genre is sci-fi.
Okay.
That's my favorite genre. Like, I love the Fifth Element. I have a Fifth Element
Fifth
tattoo
Element.
on my arm.
Chris Tucker. Yeah. Fifth Element was crazy.
East Bayou.
He's by you. Shout out to Johnny Smollett.
Yes.
Shout out to Jussie. I don't know what they got going on with Jussie right now, man. Shout out him. Did he do it? Oh, no, was he fake? Niggas is not out getting Subway in Chicago in the middle of the winter.
So confused. I'm so confused. Stop, done. Did you see that? Let me get my shade room news. What's that thing he said in court before they pulled?
I am not crazy.
I'm not crazy, and I didn't harm myself.
Yeah. That's some real black shit, though.
Real black shit.
We've been saying that for a minute. Like, listen, if I die, if they arrest me and I go to jail, I did not kill myself.
I did not kill myself.
They said Sandra Bland killed herself. No, she didn't. He was like, I did not hurt myself.
But then I was like, who's trying to kill Jussie Smollett in prison? You know what I mean? And I was like, I don't know, bro.
I don't know, bro.
So confused.
Okay, Fifth Element, East Bayou, two great movies.
It's like you asked me this question, and now I can't think of any movies.
Yeah.
Oh, man, God, I really love. I feel like my movie choices are gonna be like bad to other people, but I stand by them.
Yeah.
So I really love Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers.
I just
okay.
I love it because I love the satire.
Yeah.
I love the political commentary. Outside of like the killer bugs. I just felt like the movie was like ahead of its time. It was a good movie, and it was like just a really good movie to watch. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
But how it just talked about like the military and how just drafting and how, you know, young people are used as like fodder for just that, the whole commentary behind that.
It's dope. Yeah.
Then we bring it to the sci-fi world. I thought that was really, 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 really interesting. Interesting too is if you read the book, that most of the characters were like Hispanic.
Oh, really?
That's why they have those names in the movie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Very whitewashed.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah. I know I have so many movies that I
Fifth
love.
Element, East Bayou, Starship Troopers.
I'm trying to think of a serious movie. Like a drama.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to come back.
Okay. I could tell you my 5 favorite movies of all time. But that, y'all know me, I'm like a history buff, and I'm definitely not coming from your perspective of, you know, being in entertainment and cameras and all that. Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Yes. That. Which I kind of got a question for you about that.
What?
So Spike Lee's famous, you know, the famous shot that he does.
Oh, where someone they're standing on a thing but also pulling the camera at the same time.
Yeah. What is that? Like, what is that? Is that like a thing he did? Did he like come up with that? I know, but he does it on all his movies.
Yeah. Very like, cause so Spike Lee's an auteur. And that shot is always in his films. I have to look at the history of that shot. I feel like that started with him. I don't want to like misspeak or something like that. Okay. Because I'm trying to see.
But what's happening?
I'm trying to remember what Spike Lee's influences are. And also like Ernest Dickinson was the DP that worked a lot on his work and stuff like that. So I remember I remember someone recreated this. It's like the subject is also standing or somehow on like a dolly. Yeah. And then so they're being moved at the same time that the camera's being moved.
Oh, and
Yeah.
that's how they. Okay.
Yeah.
I just always thought
So the
that's so
camera could
cool.
so there could be a camera on them with the dolly, or another like a source of a camera that's being like pulled or pushed on the same.
And it's always at like a key moment and like a turning point and like what the main character is like thinking or like.
Yeah, it's
always
kind of in the sense
interesting.
of like someone that's like having a moment where they're in their head.
Yeah.
Or I think it was like when Spike Lee and Denzel Washington were they walking together when this was happened, and it was before. This is before. It's when he was Red.
No. I think this one was when this was right before he died. When he was going into the Audubon Ballroom.
Got you.
And he was
I
like,
he did it twice in that movie. No, maybe I might.
oh, did he do it twice? He probably did it twice. He probably did do it twice.
I might be thinking of another Spike Lee movie.
Yeah, but I know he do it in a lot of them.
Yeah, like in every film for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember if he did it in Inside Man. But Spike Lee has like these movies where it's like you can tell this is a Spike Lee joint.
Oh,
Spike Lee film.
Spike Lee film. Yeah.
He does it in the joints.
Yeah, he does in the joints with the films.
Yeah.
Meaning this is for my black audience.
Yeah.
The Spike Lee joints is for my black audience. The Spike Lee films is for my broader audience. This is for mass appeal.
Shit, did he do it in Chirac?
Did he do it in Chirac?
And I did not hate that movie.
Thank you. I like Chirac.
I enjoyed it.
Chirac was a good movie.
I enjoyed it, but I guess I knew it was gonna be a musical.
Yeah.
I knew I was familiar
With the Greek part.
Illustrata.
Yeah.
So I think I knew what to expect.
You got you.
And a lot of people didn't know what to expect.
Shout out to Chirac. Chirac was, and I did, like you say, if you did research on it before you saw it, then you knew what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
And that's why, but if you didn't, and then you was like, oh, this is stupid. Yeah.
I knew going, I was like, oh, this is going to be an art piece right here.
Yes.
And I was ready for it, dude. And I didn't hate it. Like, a lot of people get on Nick Cannon about it. Nick Cannon. But it's kind of like you knew it.
Shout out Nick Cannon. Why y'all cancel that man's show? I like this show. I like the Nick Cannon show.
I didn't watch the show.
You didn't watch it?
You
I
liked
liked
it. Show, right?
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
I watched it like every day.
Is this so?
Well, on YouTube. But
okay, so this was during the. Can we call it turban?
During the turban years. Yo, this is what we did all the time when we was living together. The shade of it all.
This so ignorant. Keep talking about film.
No.
How long did he have a show?
He had a show since, when did Nick Cannon's show come out?
Because he's always hosting shit.
Yeah, it was like
had his own
August.
talk show, really? Okay.
August, yeah. But I liked it. It was really good. It was positive. It was like black. It was in Harlem. It was like Malcolm X Boulevard. Like it was, but it was really.
He wasn't getting like Hotep, was he?
No, it was no. It wasn't like that. But he did incorporate like black stuff. But it was more like happy go lucky.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did he have a turban on?
No, I don't think he had the turban on. Nah, after the whole Jewish thing, he was like, man, let me chill.
Can we call that a turban though? Because that's a headpiece you get from like the beauty salon store for like $2.99.
This joint is so like.
My grandma used to wear those. Turban is not the term.
You know what? That's true.
Yeah.
My grandmother used to wear them joints in the front row of the church.
Every color.
Prayer meeting, Bible study.
The deaconesses had on the all white joints. And yeah, this is not a turban. What was that called?
I don't know what that was. He was on some other. This was like maybe right after Mariah. He just kind of went on a journey. Let that man go on his journey. We all gotta go on our journey.
But I did not hate Chirac.
I didn't. Chirac was a good movie.
I enjoyed the cinematography.
Yeah,
it was amazing. Colors, it was supposed to be over the top. I love fucking Wesley Snipes in that movie.
I like Wesley. Now, did you see Wesley in the Kevin Hart joint?
No, I have not seen it yet. I'm very behind on Netflix.
That is one of Wesley's best performances.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. I know what you're talking about, though.
I
haven't seen it yet.
Yes, please watch it. It is so
Wesley Snipes is always solid to me. Always been solid to me. Oh, I love Mo Better Blues.
Oh, Mo Better Blues is so good. Yes.
Mo Better Blues. Love Mo Better Blues.
Yes.
That actually might be one of my favorite Spike Lee movies.
Okay.
That and School Days.
School Days, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. just the creativity, the artistry of Spike Lee, man. Who do you think is now is so the thing I like, obviously the thing about Tyler Perry is Tyler Perry's about the ownership part, and of course he's done that on a bigger level than anybody's ever done in terms of Hollywood. But in terms of the artistry of Spike Lee, who do you think in the current time is in that realm, in that era, not era, but in that realm of being as creative and pushing the limits in terms of, content, which is actually, I want to come back to something you did with that after you answer this question, but who do you think is kind of doing that now?
I'm trying to think, bro.
Yeah, I really honestly can't think of anybody doing it like him, like how he did it.
I've seen, and that's the thing though. It's like it's so much content.
Yeah.
So much content because I'm definitely seeing like a lot of creative shows. I feel like one of my favorite shows, and we're watching way more shows than we are films now.
That's true. That's true.
The pandemic, you're seeing way more like hour programming, 30-minute shows, than as far as movies or films are happening. I'm way behind. I think Legion's one of my favorite shows. On FX. I love Succession. But I guess it's hard for me to think of like who are the current like auteurs of like film right now. Honestly, I just have to do more research.
Like I'm trying to think of like.
I'm even trying to think of directors where I've seen like multiples of their films.
What's the guy? Will Packer? I mean, he's not creative like Spike Lee, but
I wouldn't say that. I mean, everyone's creative,
Yeah, that's true.
But like, I have a really weird taste in like entertainment and stuff.
What
like I watched I recently watched Dune.
Okay.
I liked it. I liked it in a sense of like space, the way the composition and how like we use space and bodies and how the bodies are in space and how space is used to tell a story and the intention. Do I like it more than original? I don't know. But also those movies are like slow burns. So this is, you know what I mean? I'm trying to think of some recent films. I'm trying to like, I've seen so many movies and things in the late because it's pandemic. So that's all people did was watch shows. Right. Even like good shows and like even bad shows.
You
like,
just watching them.
I just watch them when I have time to, because when I'm back on set, I don't have time to watch movies. I don't have time to watch TV or whatever. And then it's like this period of where you like, I decompress with like Love and Hip Hop. Or,
gotta do that. You gotta do that.
Or like Housewives. I decompress with Housewives.
Like, I mean, so actually that's another question I got later on. I'm gonna ask you how you like kind of get centered. But going back to pushing the level with content, one thing I loved about The Shrinking B6 was that you all talked about things that I wasn't seeing talked about in the mainstream around race, gender, and particularly sex and sexuality. You all were talking about women's bodies and women's sexuality in a way that I hadn't really seen. Even talked about on like Black and Sexy TV or, whatever, when that internet phase was really big in putting out like new and dope content. I remember you all were talking about, I don't know if you want me to go into detail or I could cut this out if you want me to. It was a show called Bzz, the BZZ.
Yeah.
And like, I guess it was about a woman and a vibrator or something like that. Like this kind of like content around women's sexuality and masturbation.
Yeah.
That I now we might see more of, but at the time people weren't having those conversations. So what made you like discuss sexuality and blackness and womanness within those kind of realms in such a bold way?
Well, I think, and shout out to Ebony, because again, Ebony is a genius, but I believe she wrote from things that she was going through. I think I feel like I remember like it was being, I think it was either her or her friend, and she might have said her friend, so to take the spotlight off of her. But
my friend was using a vibrator.
Yeah, it's not working. It wasn't doing anything. Yeah. It's like in the sense of like, I think I broke my vagina. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what I think is like just pulling from life, and just being real and honest in your work. You know, because when you write, and you're a writer, so you know, when you write, it's like it's an art. You know what I mean? Because you have a style and you have an aesthetic, and even though it's being presented, like you might be presenting facts or writing like a thesis, or if you're doing creative writing, it's still coming from you as a vessel, and it's in that way it's going to be different. And I think with her, she just wrote about things she was going through. And when you're, you know, to me, when you're a creative person, when you're an artist, you have no choice but to write what you see or what you're doing. Like what's that phrase? That art is a reflection of the times or something like that.
Art should reflect the times.
Yeah.
Nina Simone.
Yeah. And like I fully subscribe to that and believe in that because it should. You know what I mean? Because art, how we pull art from is like you're inspired. You're inspired about like the bullshit that's going around. You're inspired about like the good stuff, about how people act or people respond to the bad or good stuff, the mundane, the exceptional. You know what I mean? And it's just like a reflection of what you're seeing. And I think there's no easy answer in that except like it depends on the person. And I feel like she's truly an artist, and so it's like. I'm an artist. I'm a millennial. I'm like at the time like late 20s. This is what I'm experiencing, or this is what my friends are experiencing.
Right.
And so I'm gonna write about it.
Right. Because and when I was looking at that, it took me back to, you know, She's Gotta Have It. You know what I'm saying? It took me back to Girl 6. It took me back to when people weren't afraid.
I think Girl 6 might be Ebony's favorite Spike film.
Oh, really?
I think.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. But like she has a book on She's Gotta Have It. The whole it's a book based on like behind the scenes of production and stuff like that. And so I would say Spike is one of her influences.
Got you. You can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell just from her writing and even from your like the way you all capture. And again, shout out to House of June. If y'all have not been or just Google House of June because they Geminis, like, you know what I'm saying? Like us, we all Geminis, we all crazy. That's why we love Kanye. You know what I'm saying? Love hate Kanye. But definitely check out House of June if you can. Google it, just see all the dope things that they've done, man. But yeah, you could definitely tell. Now, as you know, like you said, it can be stressful, you know, sometimes being on these sets and, you know, kind of having to carry the race and even your gender on your set sometimes. And just in life, you know what I mean? In general, how are you able to decompress? How are you able to get centered? Do you meditate? Are you a religious person? You know, do you use music or food, or do you watch certain things to just kind of help you, you know, gain balance in your life?
Right. I wish I could say I meditate in an intentional way. But I'm a person that views like yoga and shit like it's way too slow for me. It's way too slow. Yeah. I remember like a couple of my friends went to Thailand and they like signed up for.
I forgot you went to Thailand. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
They signed up for a 3-hour yoga course, and I was like, I'm not doing that.
I ain't doing that shit. We gotta.
I was the only one, and I was like walking around, just, you know.
Buddha gotta come to me now. Let me know what's up.
Going to different restaurants. Nah, bruh. Something I did start doing I did pick up painting again because I set painting down for like a couple years. So I'm starting to do that again. But I started roll bouncing.
Roll bouncing?
Yeah.
What's that?
I started quad skating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, going to roller rinks.
Yeah.
I have like 2 pair of skates now.
Yeah.
I took my dog to the park, and while she was in the park, I was on the court with my outside skates, just practicing, and that's been really fun for me. That's been really fun. That's been like therapeutic, and in a sense, like I'm meditating. So I feel like that's what meditation is to me. I feel like everyone should meditate, but it's like this. I
It
feel
can
like
look different.
Yeah, I feel like this is hang up on what meditation is supposed to look like.
I like that. I like that idea.
So in that sense, that's how I meditate. Listen to music. Smoke a little weed.
You know what I mean? Love.
And yeah. Right now, like I've been on a break for like 2 weeks where I've been off, and kind of just like chilling, getting the house clean.
Right.
And then like my husband's very supportive. He's like my best friend, you know what I mean? And he's very good on just like, did you have a good day today? How's your day? So, you know what I mean? And
is he a creative as well, or like how do you balance that too? Like
he is a creative. He is a creative, but he's also more. I would say he's more disciplined and more organized than I am.
Okay.
And he kind of reminds me of my dad in the sense of like, I don't know if like to work is the term, but like appreciate, enjoy the activity of working, you know what I mean? Or being busy or like that. And in a sense, like his position, he gets to be creative and he gets to produce and create content. And that's something like he likes to do. Yeah. So yeah, in that sense he is. But like in a way of like, he's very like nurturing in the sense of like him asking, how's your day going? It's not him like putting on, that's just how he is as a person. You know what I mean? And I'm not normally a person that will ask you. Like I don't really see myself as traditionally nurturing when it comes to like in the sense of how we assign gender roles to what nurturing looks like. You know what I mean? Right. So in a sense, like we mesh together. You know what I mean? So yeah. So.
Okay.
I think I answered the question.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I know that. I think a lot of times, especially if you are a woman in like entertainment, the only woman on a set or whatever, so you have to kind of assert yourself a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And you kind of have to. You might not be able to just kind of be and just kind of relax. You probably have to be more so-called masculine, you know what I'm saying, and assertive. And so that's why I was asking that question, to just see how was that with your husband, to be able to balance that. I don't know if you can bring that to the domestic space, or if you're able to kind of like cut that on and off if you have to, or if he like understands you or you understand him or whatever. But it sounds like y'all just have y'all have a lot of similarities. Both of y'all are creators, but then there's just a difference of the way in which y'all approach it that y'all respect about each other.
Yeah, it's difference in how like we express our emotions and stuff like that. But it's not anything to where it's very easy for us to communicate.
That's dope.
Yeah, we have reached a place where if we're feeling a certain way, then we say it. Yeah. And then we say it and receive it in a way that we trust and respect the person that is giving it or receiving it. You understand what I mean by that?
Got you.
Yeah. It's like
I'm gonna express myself, but I know my boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Like I know how to do this without offending you.
Yeah, and I know that you trust that my intention was not to offend you. If I say something that could possibly be offensive.
Right.
And then being able to like, I feel like I did something wrong. I'll say I did something wrong.
Right.
I gotta feel it though.
You gotta convince me. If you ain't convince me, I'll be like, shit.
Yeah, but if I'm not that person that like, do shit. And I feel like I'm like that on set too. Like if I feel like if I take accountability. And I like when other people take accountability. Yeah. Because you don't have to like go through the thing. You know that whole thing when no one's taking accountability. Yeah. It's like nah, I fucked up. You know what I mean?
I ain't gonna even lie.
I fucked up.
Like one of my favorite stories about Amber, I'll never forget this. We was living together. We had we had an apartment in Midtown, and we would just have people over to the crib like all the time, just mad people. And I ain't gonna even lie, I'm much neater now than I am back then. But it was just a mess. I was just whatever, it was early to mid 20s or whatever. And I remember we had dishes piled up in the sink.
I knew this was gonna be the dishes.
We had dishes piled up in the sink, yo. I would even lie. This is kind of disgusting. And so. And it was just dishes for like how it was.
But that wasn't just on us too. There's another factor there.
Yeah. It was other people. Yeah,
factor.
Yeah, it was another factor for sure. Other people was there, but so it wasn't just us.
Yeah.
But I just remember it was like dishes, and I think it was like it had grown to like these little maggots.
Yeah.
It was.
Nobody
had watched
was like, I ain't put those dishes in there.
Right. These little maggots was in the dishes. And Breeze came down to, I guess, wash them or do something. And she saw the maggots and she was like, I want everybody out here now. This don't make no goddamn sense. Ain't nobody washing no dishes. Are you serious? We got maggots in the sink. This is fucking insane. Like, she cussed us all out and we was just sitting there like, bunch of niggas just. She's like, somebody gonna wash these dishes. This don't make no sense. She went hard on us, and we got it there. We washed some dishes up, man. So, it was, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be able to take that. Like, this is kind of disgusting, dog.
Like, we all got to live here, bro.
Right, grown men.
But the thing is, like, I understood where you were coming from.
It was a lot of people. Ain't nobody want to wash each other's dishes.
I feel like if it was just you and me, that shit would have not reached.
Nah.
And everyone, I think everyone was like, I ain't washing no more dishes.
I
didn't make them dishes. I ain't washing them. And I knew where people were coming from. But I feel like if it was just you and me, that wouldn't even be.
Yeah. For sure. But we was like. Yo, Amber say wash these dishes, bro. We about to wash these dishes. I will never forget that. That was crazy.
And but because of that, because you see me like fly off the fucking rails.
Yeah.
When I hopefully I feel like I've matured.
I haven't seen you do it that much since then. Yeah. That was a long time ago.
And but because of that, and me knowing I don't want to be like that anymore, in a sense of like this relationship has taught me a lot and just being in a position where I guess I'm an authority figure or whatever. Yeah. Has taught me a lot of being like, not even just patient. I feel like I've been a patient person, but I don't let things sit into me so long to where they fester. Mm-hmm. And where
I gotta learn that. I'm still learning that.
I'm learning to speak up, but not in a way that I've let it fester so long that when it comes out, it's like daggers, you know what I mean? Fact. And just like learning how to not be as passive. Mm-hmm. And it's because I feel like the part of that is being passive. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's like you're being passive and you've been passive so long that you just let that shit sit, right? And then it comes out. It goes
coming out crazy.
And so my husband has taught me, and with him too, it's like that's why it's so like, no, let's talk this out. Yeah. You know what I mean? Let's not let it sit. It's like one of those things like, let's not go to like we try very hard not to go to sleep angry with each other. Yeah. Because this shit's stressful, you know what I mean? And the same thing with being on set. You're on set with like for the most part, you're on set with someone 12 hours plus. And you want to be like at certain times it gets to like you're around people on set more than you are around your own family. Yeah. And in that sense, it's like, I don't want to be around you and then we don't like each other or there's tension. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or there's sense, because it's like
it could come out in the art.
Yeah, it come out in art, or it can come out like as a camera operator like I'm operating now, so DPing, like I don't have as much influence on how I mean I do, but it's not the same level on how the image comes out or whatever. But even just like if it was like an office job, you know what I mean, and you have a team member or someone's like their office is across from you, that tension, you can feel that, and that stress, and I feel like, I mean, you're not getting paid to be stressed out. You're getting paid to do a job, and so in that sense, like you can talk to people and treat people like a human being.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Facts.
Because I mean, I don't want to go to work and have to yell at somebody. First of all, I don't think you ever should have to yell at someone at work. You know what I mean?
Not when you grown.
Like
you
grown.
professionals, nah. Like everybody know their job. Let's do it. Let's get it done.
But yeah, you don't ever want to have to yell at someone, and I feel like it's just like a good like finding that balance in the sense of like if someone's fucking up or doing this, like, you know, you have that conversation with that person and also be accountable, because you want it to be an environment where, like, you don't want to be an environment where someone's afraid to talk to you,
right?
Because I've been in that place before too, and that's not a good feeling, you know what I mean? Especially like when you're learning or you're coming up and you want to learn more, or it's like you're in a position where I don't know how to do this because I just started on set, you know what I mean? But you're too afraid to let someone know that you don't know. And that's something I learned quickly. Like if I don't know something, I'm gonna ask questions, because I don't want you to send me on a mission and I do the mission wrong. You know, and that also comes back to feeling like a fear for me is like I don't ever like feeling incompetent. And that might be based on how we're raised, you know what I mean? Like, and so like people like get afraid to ask questions, and it's never a good environment where you're afraid to ask questions,
right?
Because asking questions is how you get the knowledge and how you become better at your job, because you're learning. I feel like you should always be learning, and if you haven't learned something, then it's like you did something wrong, right? You know what I mean? And that's how people get complacent, because I feel like there's a point where I'm not learning, I'm not inspired by something when I come to work or whatever, then I need to move on to the next level. So yeah.
Yo, I guess to kind of wrap up, and we still got to talk about our top 5 movies too.
Yeah.
So we got to come back to that. But before we do that, I do just kind of want to talk a little bit about 2 things. What are your career as well as your personal goals? So like, where do you want to go? I know you talked about wanting to be a director of photography. Is that your end goal? And then also just your own kind of personal, spiritual kind of growth. You know, where do you want to go?
I think
there?
I think director of photography is my end goal.
But you say you've done that though. Or you
yeah,
are
but at a certain level.
Okay.
Like I've done I did like my first commercial like last year and stuff like that, and now I'm operating because I enjoy operating, and also I want to learn more about being a DP. So I'm not where I want to be as a DP. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I still fairly new to this. I've been like I think I've been in a union. I think it's like 6 years. So in that sense, my career is very fresh, very new. Because there's people who've been in this business for like 20 plus years. You know what I mean? And so I still want to learn. I still want to be creative. And I think eventually I would want to direct again, even if it's co-directing, because I got the opportunity to co-direct with House of June. But I feel like that's like, you know.
And you know so much more now. You're so much more advanced now.
Yeah. I think just now I'll just be a better filmmaker, you know. And then just bringing what I learned and what I gained, the knowledge I got, to creating content again. I think that would be like really awesome to see in the future. So I think the goal is to just create content, like just good stuff that's like from the heart, and just giving you all I have into that and being intentional. I do feel like as a Black person, like you always want, you know, you're carrying your people on your back. You want to put your people on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that might not even be. It's so weird because it's like I feel like we carry that on us, and we don't necessarily have to, but it's at a point where now we want to. You know, and it's like a sense of pride of who you are and where you came from. You know, but yeah, like have a family eventually. I always joke about being one and done.
Okay.
So
just like one kid and
one
then
kid. If you happen to have twins, that's even better.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. One shot. Shoot your shot, Steph Curry. You better hit it from the half court.
One take Drake on it. Just the one and done.
Yeah.
And you know, just be happy, have children. Yeah. Have a child, have a happy marriage, and still be able to create.
Dope.
And then it be sustainable.
Dope. Yeah. What suggestions do you have for content creators coming after you, particularly Black women coming after you, doing the behind the scenes work, doing the camera operating and you know, in DPN, like, what are some of your suggestions to them? And then maybe just some life lessons in general, just what you learned on this journey. I know you got some gems, and you know what I'm saying?
I don't know if you're in a position, just believe that you deserve to be there.
Y'all hear that? If you there, you deserve to be there.
Yeah.
For real.
Because, like, you know, production is booming, especially in Atlanta. So many people, like moving here to work in production. It's so many. So if you are working, if you're working as us, you know what I mean. It's someone saw you and you deserve to be there. And even if people act like you don't deserve to be there, like, you deserve to be there. But also like I always tell people when people are thinking about, I'm thinking about going to camera and stuff like that. Just, you know, you want to be observant. You know, trust your intuition.
Trust that intuition, that good. Trust that.
Being observant is key.
Okay.
Because it's like, I'm forgetting the word, but, you know, just, what I managed to do is before someone asked me for something, I kind of had an idea what they were going to ask me for. Yeah. So I do that thing where I map in my brain, where is it at? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anticipation. Okay. Anticipation is cool. Like, always be ready. You know what I mean? Be organized, especially as a camera assistant. And then something I had to teach myself, which I am still teaching myself, is don't take stuff personally. Because people come to sets with whatever they got going on, you know what I mean? And some people, they had a bad day, they're taking it out on everyone. Right. And don't take things personally in the sense of like, this person doesn't like me or it's me. So this person's an asshole, but it's not because of me. You know what I mean? Right. And it's like, that's an important skill to have, you know what I mean? Because like a type of person I am, I take on people's energy. Right. And I learned if someone's actually an asshole, they're an asshole outside of me being here. Right. They're going to be, you know what I mean? Right. And in that sense, when you know that, it's like you have this power of how much you're going to engage with that energy that they're putting out. That's diamonds. That's diamonds. And to me, that's very important to learn. Now, if someone disrespects you, that's a different thing. But you know what I mean? But if I know it's like, this person's always an asshole. And you know what I mean? It's just like, they're going to be a miserable person if I'm here or not. You know what I mean? But if you step out and you disrespect me, that's a different story. Now you can have a conversation. And it's just like it's like, the emotional and mental thing of like, this is what I'm bringing to the table. Like I said before, this is what I bring to the table, and I can't give you anything else but my best. And I can promise you that I'm going to do my best. Right. You know what I mean? And that doesn't necessarily mean everyone's going to appreciate it. But I feel like as long as you know that you tried your hardest and you brought your best, you're not gonna like be ashamed of yourself or anything. You understand what I mean by that?
Yeah, I like one of my favorite sayings is people gon' people.
Yeah, people going people.
People gon' people. People are gonna, and the older you get, the more you realize, like, man, we all going through so much. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all going through so much, man. We're all, you know, we're all living this life, and like you said, you don't know what people are going through or what they, you know, are struggling with or what they've overcome. You know what I'm saying? It's just so. I like what you said, and I'm gonna actually take that on as well. Try not to take so many things so seriously.
Yeah.
You know what people do. You know, like you said, the disrespect. No, we're not gonna have that. But just in terms of, you know, how people may respond or how people are acting, it's kind of like if people are acting in a really great and positive way, cool, that's wonderful. If people acting like an ass, you know, I don't know what you're going through. You know what I'm saying? Sending you healing energy, sending you positivity, and I'ma just
because it's almost you gotta
keep doing what I gotta do to make sure I'm in a good space.
When it like comes to that energy, it's almost like I gotta think of it like I'm wearing a rain jacket, bro. Like it's like that shit it just falls off.
It fall off me.
It just fucking falls off.
Yeah.
Like it hits your jacket, but you still don't get wet and you just let that shit fall off.
Yeah.
And it's like I love that saying people gonna people because it's just like it's learning to not absorb it. You know, you're not a robot.
Yeah.
But it's learning to not take that home. Learning to like if I'm acing and someone's giving me attitude or whatever, with taking that and having the negotiations with myself in my head and also like not taking shit personally, I'm also when I confront you, it's not gonna be like it's not gonna be this big thing because I'm just gonna come at you as a human being, a person, and just let you know, hey, you know, it's like almost like where are you at to where you felt like it was okay to disrespect me, or you might not know this.
Yeah.
But this is how you disrespect me.
This is how you disrespected me.
And then that's when it comes up. Well, you know,
I'm going through this. I got this. Yeah.
All right, you know.
Yeah, that's cool.
And in a sense, then you just you can let it go.
Yeah.
You confronted the thing. It's the problem, or blah blah blah. And then also it helps with like this has nothing to do with me. You know, I don't know. The bank is fucking with someone's bank account right now. I know how annoying that can fucking be.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hop back on this camera and do my job.
Because
the thing is, like, when you absorb that, it can get in your head and just fuck up what you got going on. You know what I mean? And I know for me, that's how I take on people's emotions and their energy.
Right.
And so I have to learn to not do that. You know what I mean? And I'm getting better at it. I haven't mastered it. You know, and I feel like it's something I'm going to be working on for the rest of my life. Got you. But yeah, it's like you got to do your job, and you can't let anyone else's bad energy mess up what you got going to your job because you have so much stuff you got to do. You know what I mean? One thing, it's like I got to be in the zone. Yeah.
Like one thing my counselor would tell me is like be intentional about curating a space that you want. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Paint your walls a certain color. Put up plants. You know, it's good to. One thing I love, even though I be killing them, is plants. You know, I try to. You know, you see plants in different places because it brings life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It brings life. It brings oxygen or whatever else chemical stuff plants bring. But you know what I'm saying? Just be intentional about your space.
Yep.
And how you start your day. Is a lot of times how your day is, that's going to dictate your day. You know what I'm saying? So starting your day with just positive messages or positive energy. And the more you do that, the more you're consistent with that, I think the more you can get to where you are with, when you see something happening or somebody step to you crazy, you can learn how to, just. You
have that moment. Like,
you could take that extra moment to
that
kind of.
That moment, because it's like, and I can attest to that. There at times I'm driving to work and I'm listening to music and it's like, okay, we're gonna have a good day.
Yeah, we just gonna.
I'm gonna give my best.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give my best. People are gonna see that I'm giving my best and appreciate it. If they don't appreciate it, you know what I mean. It's like
it's all good.
You have the words of affirmation. You pray.
Yeah.
And I can attest to that. When I've done that, my day is usually good, even when some bullshit has popped off.
Yeah.
Because I did that, I was able to take that moment before something escalated into something it didn't need to escalate.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
And also, it's like just having accountability. I feel like no one can be mad at someone that's accountable. I feel that because it's like, I don't know. I remember this one time on set, and I had to raise my voice. And when I say raise my voice in the sense of what I view as raising my voice. Other people don't view it as raising my voice. Yeah. But it's like, but then I go back and I'm accountable to like, okay, this is why I had to do this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And this is like, we're going crazy, and I was trying to center everybody, blah, blah, blah. And then I had people come up to me and it's like, yeah, like, I love how you take charge on set and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, thank you. You know what I mean? But it's like, you know, just like, come on, like something we've been taught since like primary school. Treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, treat people how you want to be treated. And if people don't treat you how you want to be treated, you let them know how to treat you.
You let them know how to treat you. You let them know how to treat you. That's real.
There are ways to let someone know that you're not going to talk to me like that.
Yeah.
Without even having to say, you're not going to talk to me like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I know some people who straight up say, you're not going to talk to me like that.
Oh, yeah. I've done it. I've actually done it in situations where I was like, this could cost me my trajectory in my career. And so and it wasn't disrespectful, but it was like, okay, so I understand that it's getting tense right now. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen.
Right.
While we in this conversation.
Right.
Because I'm not going to allow it. And you're not going to do it. Because you're not going to disrespect me. So let's just calm down. And let's just kind of figure out what kind of voice control, like how we need to do this so that there's no disrespect, because that's not tolerated. And
a sensible person recognizes that and they respect it.
Yeah,
because
sure.
you're coming at them on the same level.
Yeah.
Now, people who aren't sensible, I can't do anything about that.
Yeah, I can't do anything about that.
And it shows that they're not.
Right.
And so when you take yourself out of it, it's like there's a problem you have to work with yourself.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with me.
Right.
And when you see that, it's like all that weight. You just release it.
That's on you.
Yeah, and
that ain't on me.
Yeah,
I'm about to go back. I'm about to listen to this WizKid, listen to the Tims, listen to some Lucky Day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And be in a good space. I'm not about to take on this.
His latest album is really good, by the way.
That Lucky Day.
Yeah. Listen to this weekend. But yeah, it's like when you see that and like the magic and the power in that. Yes. It's like sometimes I don't even gotta go and listen to music or anything because I released the whole thing.
It's done.
It's done. Yeah. It's like, oh, that has nothing to do with me.
Yeah. But I think sometimes that comes with age. I think that comes with maturity. Because we wasn't always like that. You know what I'm saying, back in the day.
I always felt it tried. I always felt tried.
You know what I'm saying? But I think a lot of it is.
Want to try me.
You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of it is like ego. Sometimes that's another thing I'm learning now. Is like learning how to let go of ego and things like that.
Like Kanye.
And definitely, I think too. Also, I think for me, also having a daughter and just kind of learning things from her, even the way in which I interact with her, and fixing, like, even if I get mad at her and I'm like, man, maybe I shouldn't have got mad at her over that, or you know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm yelling. And it's something else, and so that also kind of makes me do introspection as well. So I definitely think what I'm saying, having either being married or having a child or both, but you're working with somebody causes you to have to kind of take that extra step. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I meant when I was talking about like being married. That's the one thing I'm learning. Like I'm learning that it's like to be those moments of introspection and where it's like. Why did I react that way?
Yeah.
And then going back to say, I apologize, and I think I reacted that way because of this, and this is what's really going on.
Yeah.
And and I take that into my work environment, and also how just how I talk to my friends or how I talk to my parents. Because I remember my mom used to trigger me, so it's like, and I was like, nah, we can have like mature adult conversations now and laugh about shit and stuff because it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not like, like waiting to be lit or something and so yeah.
Cool. Well, before we end, I think I mentioned my number one movie. So Malcolm X, I love Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump is a good one.
I love the Forrest Gump is my shit.
I'm trying to think of some movies.
I like biopics, so I like Malcolm X, Forrest Gump, Ray. Those are like my top 3 movies.
Did you see that? Did you see that trailer for that new Elvis movie? Go watch it and tell me what you think about it. It looks like it's gonna be extremely, like it's gonna be an art film.
Really?
Yeah, it has Tom Hanks in it too.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, tell me what you think. Like, yeah, look at it and tell me what you think.
Cause see, I loved Bohemian Rhapsody. That's like one of my favorite movies.
I haven't seen it yet. I have not seen Bohemian Rhapsody yet.
I would say it's my favorite musical biopic, but because I'm black, I can't say it is. I have to say it's either Ray or Straight Outta Compton. But if I wasn't black, I would say Bohemian Rhapsody. It is a wonderful film.
Okay. Ray was a really good movie.
So that's 3.
My favorite biopic.
Number 4. What is my favorite? What's my other favorite movie? I don't know. Now I just kind of gotta pick.
There's a lot of movies I like.
Yeah.
Let's see, Interstellar. There's way older movies I like though.
Yeah.
No. I'm trying to think of some Coen Brothers films I like.
I'm trying to think of what's my other. I can't think.
I know, right? It's like when you like
you know
them. When
I
you
got
know
top
them.
3,
When someone
but
asks
I can't
you
top 5.
what are your favorites?
To just.
I'm just thinking I'm thinking of all the films I've seen ever in my life.
Yeah. This actually is hard.
Yeah, right.
This actually is really hard.
It's because there's like so many movies, and then you break them down by genre,
all of that.
Oh my god! So this is a film that like me and my friends were talking about. Do you remember Teen Witch?
No.
Oh my god, you haven't seen it?
No, I don't remember that. Teen Witch, I ain't see that.
The same people know.
Quit hating like
if
y'all.
you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
That's like because I like a lot of 80s movies.
Okay.
A lot of 80s movies. A lot of
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah. Pretty in Pink and shit.
Yeah.
And I was watching Mystic Pizza the random morning. It was
Harlem Nights.
Harlem Nights is so good.
Is another one of my favorite movies. Yes, Harlem Nights. That's my number 4. Yeah.
Oh, remember when we went to go see Idlewild?
Idlewild, yes. It's
That
not my
was
top,
that
but
was
that's a
that was
good
a good
movie.
experience.
That was a good experience.
Okay, so some movies
I like Idlewild as a movie though.
Yeah. No, I like it as a movie, but I felt like the way we saw it, we had no choice but to like it
because it was like
I feel
30
like some
of us.
movies, yeah.
It was
I
like
feel like
us.
some movies I have memories of
We
movies
was
in my
deep as hell in
head.
that movie
Yeah, we were.
theater. Yeah.
We have memories. I have memories of movies in my head because I remember the experience of seeing them in the movie theater. One of my favorite top things to do is go to the movie theater. So I think I prefer to see movies in the movie theater. Yeah. Which, we couldn't do for a while. Yeah. But yeah, some movies stand out to me because of the experience.
Because of the experience, Gotcha.
And I think that's why it's also so hard to be like, what's your favorite movie?
Because it's tied to something.
Yeah. But there's a lot of movies, and I can't think of them right now, where like the cinematography was great, or the story was great, or so I get that. Like it's like, or some movies like The New World. A lot of people hate that film, but for some reason I really like that film. And I like the pacing of the camera movement, and how we see the world with Pocahontas and stuff like that, and how that changes from when she goes back to London. But yeah, it's like the movies I like for certain reasons, even if I don't like them as a whole or whatever.
Got you.
Because I remember one of my exes was watching a movie, and he was like, it just felt like a really long bad poem. And I understood that, but I was like, I like this film for some reason. It might have been the camera work, or it might have been the storytelling. So, and there's a lot things about films that I like, even if I don't like them as a whole. So.
And she didn't talk about this, but Amber also dabbled in poetry.
Oh my God, I really
She did spoken word and poetry and all of that.
I once upon a time wrote really bad poetry.
No, it was not bad. It was actually really good. It was actually really good. But yeah, man. Yo, it's been a great conversation. Yeah, this was good, yo. I love it, man. I appreciate it. So, yo, before we end, tell the people where they can find you, what you got coming up, all of that.
I'm in Atlanta. I'm in Atlanta. I start another show in a couple weeks. I'm not too sure if I can mention what the project is. But yeah, Atlanta. I feel like I don't have the job to drop social media, so that feels weird to me.
Yeah, she's on social media.
You can find me on Instagram.
Yeah, I was gonna say you on
like,
it. You don't
my
be
brand
on it
is
like
on there.
that.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
You can find my music.
Well, if you want to drop your social media, you can.
I am on Instagram, and if you want to follow me, I will follow you back.
Yeah.
I do follow people back.
Yeah.
ALNB __ DP.
ALNB __ DP.
Yeah, those are my initials.
Cool. Cool.
If you want to see someone occasionally holding cameras and doing other random things on my Instagram.
Can they hit you up to collab or on there too? Like if somebody want to collab, if somebody want to get you on for something, like.
Yeah, it's so weird. So whenever I post a picture of me doing some camera shit, I usually get DMs like, "Hey, how much the video is?" Yeah. Am I available to collab now? Not so much. Yeah. But
But in the future,
if I have time, it really depends on if I have time. If I like the project, if the project speaks to me, and me and the director or whoever are aesthetic. Yeah. It's kind of the same. Yeah. If I'm inspired by it. But the time now is limiting.
Gotcha.
So like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you got a lot going on.
Yeah, it's like when not independent and independent film worlds are totally different. And that's the one thing about when you are on a non-independent feature or a production, you don't really have time to do anything else.
Yeah, you gotta
the weekends. And so that's the only thing. Like if I'm taking a break or something. And I got a month down or something, and if it's a dope project, it's a short project, you know what I mean, that I don't have to commit too many days to, then yeah, cool.
Okay. Got you. Cool. Well, yo, it's here. Always, you can find us at Street Academy Podcast. You could type in a Google Street Academy Podcast. We're there. You could also find us where all podcasts are. Definitely want to thank Amber Bournett-McClain, for being here, for just dropping knowledge on us, man. This was a great conversation. We hope you enjoyed it. Our first in-person interview episode, and so you definitely gonna get more. With that being said, I think that is it. We always like to end every episode with saying, are all hearts and minds clear? You know what I'm saying? It's everything.
Close us out in church.
Yeah, close us out in church. Benediction. Pass the plate.
Offerings, something.
Yeah. But so with that being said, man, thank y'all again for checking us out, Street Academy Podcast. And we are out.
Bye, guys.
Peace. So, yeah.
That got their feet upon the neck of the haters, the game and the devil like came in.